I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction and know the path that needs to be taken instinctively. We actually ended up drawing 2 cards tonight, and the first one is from the Work Your Light deck.
Your guidance is divinely guided.
And so the thing that got highlighted to us from this is that all information is available to us at any given time if we're open to receiving it. And so then we pulled the second card from the Spirit Animal deck, and this was the Butterfly Spirit one, and it's that transformation is beautiful. And the key point that got highlighted to us today on this was trust and let go. So all information is available. Trust and let go. And so we're just starting, first of all, by coming into agreement with encouraging the release of fear and worry, anxiety, and stress. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction and know the path that needs to be taken instinctively.
I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction and know the path that needs to be taken instinctively.
And we're just coming into agreement with fostering peace, order from chaos. Yes. One of the things we were talking about before we started is just simply the fact that fear isn't something that we have to be overwhelmed by. It's simply part of the process. And we were talking about the fact that it's a contraction. And in the same way that when you jump on a trampoline, that when you spring down, you're contracting the area between the trampoline and the earth. But in reality, what's happening is you're about to spring yourself to a new level. And so we don't have to be overwhelmed by fear or worry. We can just use that as a mechanism to move through to the next level. And so we just stay in a place of peace and just trust. Just stay in that place of well-being.
I'm also seeing an arrow pulling back and the tension propelling you forward towards your goal.
That is beautiful. And that is reminding me of the fact that what you focus on, you make room for. And so when you are releasing an arrow, it is important to keep your eye exactly where you want the arrow to go, not where you don't want it to go.
That's good.
Because if you focus where you don't want it to go, you are encouraging the energy to go that direction. And so too often we allow ourselves to be overwhelmed by that fear and worry, and that shifts our focus and it changes our direction. rather than sticking with the direction that we've been given. And again, this comes back to the Akashic records. This comes back to the wisdom that we have. We have to trust in the wisdom that we've been given, trust that we're being given the wisdom that we need, and that it's being revealed in the moments that we need it. And just to keep steadfastly on course and know that we are being moved, sometimes in quick motion, sometimes in slow motion, but we're still moving. And even in the moment when the bow, when the string is being drawn back, I forget what that's called, but when the string is being, when you're pulling it back, you can feel like you're moving the opposite direction. But the fact is you are still on the path moving forward. It is just that contraction to give that burst forward. And so we just come into agreement with that.
It can make your arms sore and tired, but that's part of the journey as well.
Exactly. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction and know the path that needs to be taken instinctively. And so what's coming to mind right now is just one of the stones that we pulled was an Apache tear obsidian. And this brings hidden thoughts and patterns to the surface to address. And so we're just coming into agreement that anything that's hindering that natural path, that natural being projected forward, being catapulted, that flow of energy, we just ask that it would be brought to the surface. We trust that that wisdom will be revealed in the timing that we're ready to release and let go. Coming back to the butterfly spirit, we want to be transformed and we're ready to release and let go. But first we have to see it to be able to release it and let it go. So we're just trusting that process. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction, and I know the path that needs to be taken instinctively.
This blue fluorite with indigo moonstone and amethyst, what was highlighted is it fosters peace and brings order from chaos. And I was just imagining in a time of war, when there's many people who are pulling back their bow and potentially getting ready to shoot, that if done in an energy of chaos, could be a massacre that doesn't even need to happen. But when directed and ordered and pointed, can be very effective. And pointed is the word that I'm coming up with. That something that could be total disaster ends up being precise and effective. So bringing that order from chaos.
Absolutely. And coming into agreement, what I was sensing as you were saying that is just like that divine direction that we're coming into agreement with. And with this stone, it encourages spiritual interaction and heightens our spiritual senses. And so I was just coming into agreement with that heightened spiritual senses, that our direction is right on. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction, and I know the path that needs to be taken instinctively. And I just was thinking about the twin formation, and what got highlighted here is the self-care and the importance of taking the time to do the work so that we can hear. That's how our spiritual senses work, is when we take the time to tune in.
And tagging that green flower jasper stimulates the heart chakra.
Yes.
So we come into agreement. Maybe place your hand on your heart. We activate this heart chakra. We are open to divine guidance. We are open to the Heavenly Father energy coming down, the motherly energy coming up and meeting us in the very center of our being. That merging of those beautiful energies, creating new life, creating new ideas, creating new dreams, fulfilling purpose. We just agree that our hearts are activated and open and listening.
And so I'm going to tag on to that with encouraging dreams. And so we're just coming into agreement with this grape agate and the dreams, the fruitfulness that comes forth. Yes. Yes. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear, because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I've been hardwired with divine direction, and I know the path that needs to be taken instinctively.
We have here the yttrium, fluorite, and also the hematite rainbow quartz, which both sort of team up here with encouraging deeper spiritual encounters and facilitating deeper spiritual encounters. So these two are tagging up with some double energy here, and we just come into agreement to receive more depth in our spiritual encounters, whatever that looks like for you. For me right now, it looks like reaching out for higher help. I just feel drawn to reach up for help in this moment. There are moments of self-empowerment, and then there are moments of reaching and receiving. So I come into agreement with this, fostering a stronger connection with the divine.
Just that sense that the downloads will come in the moment that they need to, from exactly where they need to. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing, and I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear, because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired with divine direction and know the path that needs to be taken instinctively. And let's just come into agreement with that one last time. I trust that the knowledge and wisdom I need is revealing itself in perfect timing. I refuse to be overwhelmed by fear, because I know that as I move through it, it propels me to new levels. I have been hardwired